Guys, welcome back to this midweek special video. You guys have asked for it, so I've decided to put a little bit of a video together about our tinny setup for traveling around Australia. This is what we feel is the best sort of setup and has gotten us to some really great places, and also we've actually managed to catch some fish, which is quite surprisingly great. Guys, I thought I'll show you the boat on top of the car as it sits, because I think it looks pretty sleek the way it sits on the cruiser. What I try to do is try and keep the boat as slimline as possible to the car. I didn't want to put stuff on top of stuff and then put the boat on top, because then you get sort of too high. So I thought we'll start here. I'll show you what it looks like on the cruiser, and also how I strap it down to the car. And then what we'll do is we'll actually get it off. We'll get the motor on, and we'll talk a little bit more about the tinny, the motor, and what we've done to the tinny to make it as comfortable as we can for ourselves. So guys, as you can see, she sits fantastically on top of the cruiser. I'll go through the boat loader as well, right around, and that is pretty as low as I could get the boat to actually sit on top of the cruiser. And inside here, you can see how I've strapped it down as well. I've got one strap on each corner around the seat. There's another one on that side. And we come around this side. I'll try and zoom in here. And you can see another strap this side and one on the other side. So with further ado, let's pop this off. So right guys, this is the little trailer that we get our little tinny around when we're not allowed to actually launch in the front here. You got to go to the boat ramp, which is not even a kilometre down the road. It's not even 500 metres, but it just makes it a lot easier. So this is an LMAC double fold little boat trailer. You can see the old cape, it's taken its knock. It's still red, but anyway. And what I normally do is I just tip the boat straight onto the trailer, which makes it a bit easier, and then we get the boat motor on. But great little trailer. It is regoed in Queensland. I paid $2,200 for the trailer, and then another $125, I think it was, for registration of the trailer. That way, came with a little tailboard as well, some lights. That way, you know, we can tow it around a little bit. Look, you can't tow far with these and at 100 k's an hour, but it gets us to places like this. And you know, being 40 minutes outside of Airlie Beach, like, I could possibly even tow this through to Airlie Beach while staying here too, because it's not a really far run and there's a lot of traffic and stuff, so you're not going at a pace. So that's our little trailer. Awesome. The only thing I will say to you guys of this trailer is when you first buy it, you've got to set it up for your boat, and that took me pretty much a whole afternoon to get where the rollers are situated, where the winch goes, where all the little slides go and stuff. But once I got it into place, I took a flat screwdriver and I actually marked where everything goes. So when I strip it out, it's the only way I can travel with the trailers. I have to take the rollers off, drop the winch down, and it all fits together on the back of the caravan. And then when I put it together, I just line it all up and just tighten it. It takes a 17 and a 19 spanner. The 19 is for the bolt that goes through the trailer, and the rest is all 17 mil. So I've got a 17 and a 19 socket and a 17 and a 19 ring spanner, and that's how I actually have it designated spanners just for this, so I know where they are. I can just get it done. almost forgot, guys, to mention, see this little H pod here that goes into the hitch? I had to buy that separately. I bought one from Rhino Rack. I think it was 130 bucks for it. You know, if you're a welder by trade or could know someone, you could easily just make that up. But anyway, that's what stops the boat from sweeping underneath the ute. So now that the boat's off, we can concentrate on my homemade boat loader. Well, technically I didn't make it. I got someone to fabricate it up for me, but I'll talk you through it. So the LMAC boat loaders, I think, will range between $3,500 to $4,000 for a boat loader, and they got a custom make it to each and every vehicle, I do believe. Now $4,000 for me was just, I couldn't afford it, so I tried to come up with something simple. I looked at a couple ideas out there, did the same thing as most probably you guys are doing, is I YouTubed it, and I've come up with this. Now, I would have liked to have made this possibly out of aluminium, but I got the boat, I measured the widest part of the boat, and I said to myself, well, that's as wide as I've got to make the boat loader. So I come up with 3 sort of crossbars, and then I'll show you something in a minute. This canopy is actually slightly lower than this sort of roll bar. Now, I got the canopy with the ute when I bought it. It was second-hand cruiser. So what I did, if you come around this side, is I measured it and I put a 40 by 40 bar, 2 bars going that way. You most probably could put a third one if you wanted to, but 20,000 k's later, and she's still as solid as anything. And then I had these little lugs welded up. Nothing too high, but to stop the boat from moving from side to side. And what I did is inside the canopy, I can't show you because I've covered it, where these are running, there's a 50 by 50 aluminium tube that runs across inside the canopy, which was there when I bought it, so that must be their reinforcing. And what I did was I literally got these crossbars welded up. Oh, the wind's not working in my favor today. And I literally just bolted the whole thing together with high tensile bolts and stainless steel bolts, and then I came across, I had these, which this is something I would change. You can see how it's sort of bent, so I don't know if that even sort of really rolls, but I had them, so I put them on and they've bent like that. They're not going to bend any further. And then also we put the blue stripping across each crossbar, and then I don't know if I wanted to put the winch on. I bought the winch off eBay. I'll drop some options in the description below. So the winch went on. I wasn't gonna, because the boat only weighs 84 kilos. I'll get into that in a minute. But Sue was like, well, we've got the winch. Why don't we just use it to make life easier? Sorry about the wind noise. I'll try my best here. Talk louder for you if you want. But and then, guys, I literally just bolted the whole thing to the canopy. And I'll put a little thing up on the side of the screen here. I'll run down the cost that it cost me to build the boat loader on its own, so you can see over here somewhere what it all cost me. I can't quite remember, so I'll do all the ads up myself and put it at the bottom. And then what I thought to do was the bolts that come through the bottom of the canopy, I put these eyelets on the top, and that's how I strap the boat down. The tinny, the big talking point, the big questions I get asked. This is a Stacer 349 territory. The reason why we went with this tinny was the high sides. Scared of crocs, basically. But weighs 84 kilos when you buy it. This boat set us back $3,000 last year, I do believe. It was brand new from the guys down in Adelaide. And we decided to actually paint the boat. It's not a wrap. We got a flat black, or what I know is as matte black. So we got them to spray it all around, so that they charged me $1,200 to do that at the boat shop. So when I picked up the boat, it was already painted. I just didn't have the time to run around. You most probably could get it done cheaper, and we didn't have a shed working and living in a caravan park at that time. So great little tinny, guys. Honestly, this thing, we've taken it out at Eyre Peninsula. We've been up to the Cape York in it. There's been other people that use it, and every time they come back they go, this is a great little tinny. It just handles the chop so well. So as you can see, guys, great little tinny, all wrapped up. Obviously we've got our logo on the front there, but great little tinny. And I think the reason why it cuts through the water so well is look at how long this V is down here. It is just an absolute stable little boat. Absolutely love it. And then on top, got to give credit where credit's due. I stole this off the internet, off a YouTube a video, I can't quite remember which YouTube video. Jumped onto eBay and I bought some of this cheap sort of foam stuff about that. Where I got it from on eBay, I think it was 80 or 90 bucks a roll. I bought 2 rolls because it didn't quite fit with 1 roll. I'd love to have done some more. Seeing people put it along here, and there's a good reason for it. So especially when you're fishing for like squid or even whiting, the ink and the slime, once it gets on there and you stand on that, your foot actually slips and hits into these ribs, and believe me, it's not fun and games. And the reason why I haven't put a floor in this boat, just a little deck, which I'm still considering doing, is number 1, weight. Number 2, I just haven't had time. And guys, when we bought the boat, it came with this little cubby, and that's great because I keep my flares and my phone and my keys inside here, and I just know that they're always going to be on the boat because we do go a little bit, like, you know, a bit offshore, so you need all the safety gear. Up front, this is where I hook the tinny on, and another little bench obviously there, and a second bench here. And I tell you what guys, this boat's that stable that when it's a pretty good day like it is today, but that wind is picking up, we actually stand on top here and flick around, which is awesome. And it was great doing that down at well, when we spent 4.5 weeks on Palubi fishing for squid. You just can get that height and you can stand up. It's a bloody awesome little boat. Guys, we've kitted the boat out with a bit of that rail, what's it called again? Railblazer stuff. Now, I've been using it for over a year. Still got some twigs in from the bloody Cape. Been using this stuff for a year, and I must say, it's okay. But up in the Cape, when we were able to get into some nice sized tuna, and you're sort of trawling, we did find them actually pulling out. These things actually pull out of this gunnel, and these things have been tightened so many times. And also we find the rod holders, or any of the accessories that go into these Railblazer fittings, we find that gets quite tight and you can't really lock it into place. I don't know if I'm using them wrong or you've got to spray them, but it's only plastic, so I don't know. We seem to struggle with it, but we've got them all around the boat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Possibly even if I've got them, so I'll use it, and I don't really want to be drilling into the boat and doing other kind of stuff on the boat, because just trying to keep it simple. So we'll roll with them. I mean, those sort of tuna and mackerel we were chasing out the Cape were bigger than I ever thought I'd ever catch, to be fair. I mean, I am a shit fisherman, so but we'll keep that. We've thrown a couple of rod holders on the front. I've got 2 on the back, 3 up the front, so when you're riding, the rods are nicely in place. It's not lying all over the shop. And you would see this bag. Now this, we were carrying a esky around, and the esky was getting in the way inside the canopy. And what I was doing with the esky is I was throwing the life jackets and everything inside of it, but it was going inside the back of the canopy, and I just thought, I just wish there was another way I could try and get rid of the esky, and I can utilize the space in the back of the canopy better. And I met someone on Palubi. He goes, well, why don't you get a fish bag? And well, I did some research and I went up to Anaconda and I bought this fish bag. It's not the large, I think it's a medium. I think it's about 1 meter long. And well, it serves 2 purposes. So it's a fish bag, and I put everything in here, and I actually strap it to this my bench seat over here, and then it goes up with the tinny, and it's out of the way, because everything inside here, I don't need to get to this stuff if I don't have the boat off. So it's got life jackets in, it's got the anchor in, it's got most probably a knife in it, it's got another little safety box which has got a torch and compass and everything that I need to have inside there. I think I've even got a set of flippers in there, but it's got everything we need on the boat. So when we go out fishing, I take these things off. I mean, this is just temporary, like just another 2 straps, and this just stays in the boat, and I know I've got everything I need in here. Right guys, so I'm going to measure the sides just from that to the top of the gunnel, 600. That's the reason why we got this tinny. That's a call it a 3.5 meter boat, and the widest part of this boat actually is up about here somewhere. And this is where I built the boat loader. That is 1.6 meters wide. Towards the back, I think it's only I can't remember now, 154. Well guys, you must probably ask where the outboard, I store my outboard. Now there's several ways that we can, well, I've seen that you can store your outboard. Number 1 is on the A-frame. We had it on our last caravan and it got absolutely destroyed from stones, and when I jackknifed, I caught the cowling, which I'm so disappointed with myself. But also the other side is the back of the caravan. I've seen outboards on the back of the caravan. Now you've also got to worry about that because of your ball weight. If you have it on the front of the caravan, just think of your ball weight, but also if you have it on the rear of your caravan, you've got to worry about too light of a ball weight. But you got to figure out what's best for you, and also everyone's sort of putting it in the canopy nowadays, and that's another way you can sort of keep it out the sun, the elements. But my canopy was 50 mils too short, and I don't know why that canopy is shorter, but your standard canopies, or what I've seen, is actually a little bit higher, and you'd put it at the back or the front of the canopy. Now I was going to put mine at the back of the cruiser in the canopy, but thank goodness I didn't, because that would have been 50 kilos behind the rear axle, so that would have just made the chassis flex even more, which is what I'm struggling with at the moment. So what I come up with is this white elephant on the front of my caravan. It's just a toolbox. I measured it and I had it custom made, and guys, it is an absolute charm. Look at this, slides out, no dramas. These rails are like 200 to 300 kilo rails, so it can easily take that 50 kilo weight. It's mounted on top of the LMAC motor slide, is because I had actually had this slide on for the A-frame of our last caravan, and I thought I'd just use it because I needed the motor to come out quite far. So I strap it down like that, and just slides in, slides out, and it's quite a nice comfortable height to be able to get the motor off and onto the boat. Now what I normally do is I'll just roll the boat up a little bit closer to this, so it's basically an on-off sort of movement, because that is about 48 kilos, I must say. So guys, we've got it out this far. Take the pin out, leave it over there. It drops down like that, and just to be on a precaution, I slide this sort of back in a little bit, just like that, and then she just drops down. Look at that. Hey, so what we got, guys, is a 15 horsepower Merc 4-stroke, 48 kilos. Now obviously, if you don't know yet, they don't sell 2-strokes brand new anymore, and my history with outboards, I was buying a new one. I've just had really bad luck buying second-hand outboard motors, and generally that can be quite costly. So I bought it, the boat and the motor, from the same place, Sports Marine in Adelaide. They helped me out. I think the motor was 4,250 bucks, straight standard boat motor and fuel tank, which is tucked away inside there. Not electric start, I didn't want to carry another battery around. So basically I just undo that now, bring the boat up closer, let's pop it on. So guys, that's it. That's it all together. Super happy with this purchase, really, guys. Like, we're not paid by any of these people. I paid full price for everything. That's how she sits on the cruiser. She sits a bit high, but we'll tilt the motor. You can hear some noises out there, jet skis on the water, there's a boat on the water. Now it's time for us to get on the water and enjoy some barra. Guys, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, if you want to see more of these midweek special videos that we're producing on our equipment, drop a comment in below, smash the like button, hit the little notification and subscribe button, and we'll see you next Wednesday. See ya.